This episode of the BiteDown podcast has been sponsored by the following: Society Men's Grooming Lounge, 503 Huron Avenue, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Come down and visit the award-winning staff at Society Men's Grooming Lounge and get all of your barber needs taken care of. They're open from Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. To make an appointment, call 412-475-9226. Again, that's 412-475-9226. And by Hummingbird Botanicals, all natural from the farm to you. HummingbirdBotanical.com. And by the National League of Concerned Citizens. We are unity in action. Visit us today on Facebook at the National League of Concerned Citizens, and by Streets on Carson, supporting locally sourced food, art, and beer, all while providing an environment and experience that makes you yearn to come back. Visit them today, streetsoncarson412.com.
Peace, everybody. You tuned in to the BiteDown podcast. This your host, Rkitech.
Peace, peace. This is Big Brez.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in, checking out this first podcast. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at BiteDown Show, of course. I want to give a big shout out to everybody out in the Pittsburgh area, of course, everybody in New York. And, this first podcast, we just basically wanted to explain a little bit about what the BiteDown initiative and what you can expect from us, and a little bit about who we are. So with that said, I'm going to let the brother Brez go ahead and kick it off and let him know a little bit about, how we got on this journey to doing BiteDown.
Indeed. So, yes, this is an initiative that we started, Brother Rkitech and myself, I guess due to the need for a healthy eating consciousness or awareness. So I guess what we'll be doing is letting you know the different ways, the different foods you may need to eat, things that you need to stay away from in the diet. I guess as being a newly added vegetarian, I'm coming into a whole lot of information myself. And so we figured that it would be a good idea to go ahead and bring the information that we're learning to you as well.
Right. And I totally agree. And one of the big things that we're going to be presenting and allowing people to do is share things that have been working for them and things that haven't been working for them. Like you said, it's a platform. It's not just us telling you guys what to do, as the audience and as the listeners and participants. It's more about a give and take relationship because, myself, I've been on this journey of learning about how to eat properly the last 5 or 6 years of my life. And it's been interesting, like the brother said, to learn a lot from different people and going through so many different phases of what I can eat, what I shouldn't eat, how much of it, understanding, biochemistry, understanding the bodily fluids and pH and alkalinity and all these different things. So we're here to kind of try to, make it simple and be a support system. And like he said, a platform for us to, for other people to engage. So again, make sure to get active in the Facebook page at BiteDown Show, on the Instagram at BiteDown Show, all across the, social media platforms, and engage and share your recipes. We're going to be reading those on the air, right, brother?
Yes, indeed, for sure.
Yep. So you want to make sure you do that. And then another thing we got coming up, we're going to be doing a lot of reviews of vegan establishments, vegetarian and vegan establishments. So if you have a vegan or vegetarian establishment that you recommend we try out, whether in the New York, tri-state area or the Pennsylvania area around Pittsburgh, feel free to reach out to us at BiteDown Show. On Facebook or Twitter. Hit us on Gmail, BiteDownShow@gmail.com. And, hit us up, and we're definitely going to be doing that. So, Brez, one of the things that we're going to be covering, too, as well, is like you said, being a mechanism for people to share things. Why don't you share a couple of things that you've learned on this journey to eating healthy and trying to eat healthy and thinking healthy? What are some of the tricks that you may have, things that you may have encountered that helped you from that process, from, maybe eating meat into a little more vegetable-based diet or a totally vegetable-based diet?
Very well. So one of the major things for me that I noticed when making the transition is the lack of knowledge. So people hear the V word and just kind of lose it. So meat is any animal that has ever lived. that is meat. Fish is also meat. So I just say that because a lot of people are kind of misinformed on what meat is and what being a vegetarian is, and then actually going the extra step to become vegan. So those are three different things that are kind of baseline that I think you would kind of have to understand in order to move forward. So yeah, just getting a basic general understanding of the diet changes, so no meat, no cheese, no dairy, that makes you vegan. Nothing, no animal byproducts, anything that comes of an animal or by way of an animal is considered foul play. So in the vegan world, none of that is good. I also say, just to get an understanding of what fruits and vegetables do with the physiology is a major plus. Just to understand what the fruits and vegetables do for the human body is like the key. Once you figure that out, then you can start to kind of like put together a game plan of how you choose to eat from there.
Right. I totally agree. And one of the things that he said that I don't want to overshadow is about the knowledge. And that's kind of what this is about. Learning, we're going to be sharing a lot of information that's going to require the audience to interact with us, because we're going to be discussing scientific terms and things of that nature that are going to require the listener to engage in their vocabulary and kind of step up the game. Because one thing that I noticed is, as I started learning more about my physiology and my body, I had to learn more language. I had to really learn what certain things, what certain concepts and words were. So yeah, it's going to be a wonderful thing moving forward. And again, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at BiteDown Show. The same thing for Instagram. And again, share your recipes, share, the things that may have helped you transition into a vegetarian diet. If you ever been curious about trying to go vegetarian and you have some questions, we definitely urge you to hit us up, ask questions on those pages. And, we're pretty active on social media, so we'll definitely get back to you with a quick response if we can. And one of the beautiful things that I would say is to don't be ashamed of not knowing, because with the knowledge, you'll start to feel overwhelmed about all the things you didn't know about what you were eating. So don't take it that way. Don't be ashamed to not know. It's okay to not know, but it's all right to say, I don't know, and then go get that answer. So that's a lot of what we're doing. And one of the other things too, I really want to say, because when we talk about fruits and vegetables, another thing we're going to be covering with this is herbs and medicinal herbs, and how to incorporate herbs into your diet and how to use them medicinally. We're going to have some really, really good guests coming up on the podcast, and also live interviews. Make sure to follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You'll see the link below. Make sure to click on that, subscribe to the channel, and follow us on the social media platforms. So, definitely want to thank everybody for tuning into the podcast. We look forward to doing this. And if you want to learn more about how you could donate to the BiteDown initiative, because this is also a campaign to get fresh fruits and vegetables and healthy eating education out to communities that may not have that now. So if you live somewhere that needs that type of information and that help, make sure to hit us up. And we'll let you know how you can proceed to donate and contribute, whether it's food, whether it's information, whether it's, monetarily. So, Brez, you got anything else you want to leave the people with for this first podcast?
You know what? I would just piggyback off of your point. To be a vegetarian is not a negative thing. I've recently noticed, I don't know why, but there's a negative spin being put on the vegan diet. I guess I could see people feeling as if it's overbearing, don't eat this, don't eat that, but it's not necessarily about what you shouldn't do. We are putting more of a focus on what we should do, the things that we have been taken away from, the things that we just don't know. We don't even know the benefits that we could gain from eating certain things. So just to add some vegetables to your diet, for those of you who may not totally have made the transition yet, it just is all about putting the good things into the body. So I just would like to highlight that. Right,
I agree with you. And in closing, I think that's a powerful point, because I think that, and this is just my personal opinion, this may not, reflect how you feel, but I know there's a portion of us that feel that there's certain, and I'll call them sects of vegans that are really extreme, that some of these diets that are being proposed are really extreme, and these people, for lack of a better term, are really kind of, over, like you said, overbearing with it. And I think what we do is kind of find that balance for people and help them find that balance, because again, not everybody physiologically is the same. European people, quote unquote white people, European people may require a different diet than say a tropical person, from that type. So to isolate and say a person should just have one thing, I think it's up to the individual, but it's also a learning process. So that's what we're here for. And one other thing I wanted to add before we close, we're going to be doing this initiative everywhere. So again, hit us up and learn how you can contribute, be a part of it, become a correspondent. There's, many ways to get involved. I heard a saying recently that I really like. It says, act locally, but think globally. And that's what we're doing with this BiteDown initiative. We're starting where we live, and we're, using platforms like this podcast to get it out to the listeners. And with everybody's support, we can get this healthy eating information out to the people, So with that said, we want to thank everybody for tuning into the BiteDown podcast. Make sure to stay tuned. We got our first review shows coming up. We want to thank all our sponsors. We want to thank everybody that's participated in helping us get to this point. Shouts out to the city of Pittsburgh. Shouts out to Long Island, New York, and everybody that supports myself and Big Brez. For the BiteDown podcast, it's your boy Rkitech.
It's your boy Big Brez.
All right, and everybody eat well, live well. Peace.
Peace.